So today I brought out my entire Velotric collection to help you gain a better understanding on what bike fits you as a rider, whether it's a step-through design, a high-step design, or even a go-anywhere style bike like this Nomad. I've done reviews on all three of these bikes separately, but we're going to do a breakdown and comparison video right now, talking about all three of these bikes and what the subtle differences are, or even the major differences. Let's get started. Now, Velotric has two different models, the Discover 1 and the Nomad 1, and they come in two different variants, a high step and a step through. The Discover 1 is a commuter bike that can accommodate riders of all heights and can take a payload weight of 440 pounds, while 55 pounds of that can actually be held on the rear rack. The step through can accommodate riders between 5'1 and 6'4 and weighs in at 63.5 pounds, while the high step can accommodate riders between 5'6 and 6'9 and weighs in at 65 pounds. Now, while those seem like subtle differences, the real difference is the frame geometry. Let's take a wider look and compare the geometry and specs of the two frames to better understand what Velotric did to keep comfort their main priority. The step-through has a head tube angle of 68 degrees, a seat tube angle of 70 degrees, the reach is 386 millimeters, while the stack is 630 millimeters. The minimum seat height is 780 millimeters, while the maximum seat height is 989 millimeters. The handlebar height is 1,020 millimeters. The total length is 1,822 millimeters. The seat tube length is 435 millimeters. The standover height is 390 millimeters, and the overall wheelbase is 1,140 millimeters. At first glance, it's pretty obvious the high step geometry is pretty different. The high step has a head tube angle of 69.5 degrees, a seat tube angle of 73 degrees. The reach is 460 millimeters. The stack is 650 millimeters. The minimum seat height is 840 millimeters, while the maximum seat height is 1,050 millimeters. The handlebar height is 1,020 millimeters. The total length is 1,900 millimeters. The seat tube length is 480 millimeters. The standover height is 770 millimeters, while the wheelbase is 1,200 millimeters. Both of these bikes come with hydraulic suspension with 80 millimeters of travel and lockout. The bars are 660 millimeters wide for the step-through and 680 millimeters wide for the high step. Both bikes have hydraulic brakes, 7-speed Shimano shifter, thumb throttle, controller, and a sleek 3.5-inch display. All of that is attached to the custom designed Velotric stem with 10 degrees of rise. The wheels are a 36-hole double wall rim on a 26 by 2.5 tire that rock 180mm rotors for great stopping. The seat is 220mm wide, which is extremely comfortable and is attached to a 350mm seat post with quick release. The cranks are 170mm with a 42-tooth chainring up front, standard 9/16 alloy platform pedals, and a 7-speed cassette with Shimano derailleur on the rear. The hub drive motor on the Discover 1 is a 48-volt 500-watt motor with a max torque of 65 Nm that's being powered by a 48-volt 692 watt-hour battery pack that is UL certified. Now, when it comes to choosing which Discover 1 model best fits you, you want to think about your height and reach as well as your ability to get on and off of the bike. Both bikes do have a similar feel when riding, but I do find that the high step is a bit more responsive in aggressive turns. I do find that the step through is a bit nicer when it comes to having a child seat on the back as well as towing a trailer. So now that we have a better understanding of the Discover 1 step through and the Discover 1 high step, let's break down the Nomad 1. The Nomad 1 is a go-anywhere all-terrain style bike that can accommodate riders of all heights and take a payload weight of 440 pounds. The step through can accommodate riders between 5'1 and 6'4 and weighs in at 72 pounds. The high step can accommodate riders between 5'6 and 6'9 and weighs in at 73 pounds. Now let's take a wider look at the Nomad 1 and compare the geometry specs of the two frames to see what is kept in mind when it comes to an all-terrain bike. Starting with the step-through. The head tube angle is 68 degrees, seat tube angle is 70 degrees, the reach and stack are 380mm and 680mm, the minimum seat height is 817mm, maximum seat height is 1020mm, the handlebar height is 1080mm, the seat tube length is 435mm, the standover height is 420mm, the wheelbase is 1140mm, and the total length of the bike is 1915mm. Now to the high step. The head tube angle is 68 degrees, the seat tube angle is 73 degrees, the reach and stack are 460 and 650mm, the minimum seat height is 835mm, the maximum seat height is 1040mm, the handlebar height is 1080mm, the seat tube length is 440mm, the standover height is 775mm, the overall wheelbase is 1240mm, with the total length being 1985mm. Both bikes come with hydraulic suspension with 80mm of travel and lockout. The bars are 700mm wide on both the step-through and the high step. They both come with durable yet comfortable grips with hydraulic brakes, 8-speed Shimano rapid-fire shifter, thumb throttle, controller, and a sleek 3.5-inch display. All of that is attached to the custom-designed stem by Velotric with 10 degrees of rise. The wheels are 36-hole double-wall rims on 26 by 4 tires, rocking 180mm rotors for ample stopping. The seat is 220 millimeters wide, extremely comfortable, and attached to a 350 millimeter long seat post with quick release. The cranks are 170 millimeters with a 46-tooth front chainring, standard 9/16 alloy pedals, and an 8-speed cassette that's attached to a Shimano derailleur. The Nomad 1 is powered by a hub-driven motor that is a 48-volt, 750-watt motor with a max output of 1200 watts, with a max torque of 75 newton meters that's being powered by a 48-volt, 692 watt-hour battery pack that is UL certified. Now when it comes to choosing which Nomad 1 is the best fit for you, you want to do the same as we spoke about earlier when choosing a Discover 1. You want to think about your reach and height, and how easy it is for you to get on and off of a bike. Now both these bikes do feel the same when you're riding, but I do feel that the High Step has a bit more of an advantage on the mountain bike trails since it feels more like a mountain bike. Now if you're looking to ride the Nomad 1 on the beach, I definitely would recommend getting the step through over the High Step for maximum comfort and the ability to carry a bit more safely while you're on your ride. So that's going to do it for today's video, and I really hope you guys found this informative with breaking down the entire Velotric lineup. If you guys have any other suggestions for future videos, put those in the comments below. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.